Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. So I'm just here with Rob, RS Thinks, and we're going on a little road trip. Local, which means we can get there and back in a day. COVID rules apply, staying apart, you know, doesn't need the old elbow thing and stuff like that. It's educational as well, so we can get away with it, so leave your comments below if you don't agree. But we're here at Wellington City for a quick top up. I'm only going to get about 60-65 miles an hour. I'm not going to do much. We've got about 40 something miles?
About 41-ish.
About 41 miles, and we're going down to Grid Surf in Braintree. And it's to test realistic range. So Rob has got an ID3, so we're just going to take a little look. Look at that. Lovely new ID3. And me in my 2017 BMW i3. And yeah, do you know what? I've done this video because A, I wanted to get out of the house and I was bored, but B, I am sick to death of people doing range test videos in sunny weather, hot weather, where you're going to get the best range. Everyone knows if you get WLTP ranges that's just rubbish most of the time. So I'm going to do a realistic range in the UK when it's raining, when it's 5.5 degrees. And that's the average for the UK. So if you take that, if you're new to EV ownership, use that as a guide. You know, have a look at your range, especially if you're buying a second-hand or a smaller range car. You know, maybe you can't afford the 35, 40, 50,000 pound cars and you're looking for something more budget range car, and maybe something that just does a lower mileage, and you just have to be a bit more careful with those. So this is the video for you. So keep it here. Me and Rob are going to go for a little drive, and we'll see you at Grid Surf. So we've just set off from Welling and met up with Rob. Set off with about 60 miles. So again, 60 realistic miles, maybe not in this weather, but we're on our way now to Grid Surf with Rob behind me on the ID3, me in my i3. And we're sticking as we would, sticking to normal speed, 60, 65 on the motorways, and obviously normal speed limits where appropriate on the other routes. And when we get to Grid Surf, what we're going to do is we've reset everything so we know where things are and what you know. Reset mileage, we reset sort of, you know, miles per kilowatt hour and all that sort of lovely stuff as well. So we'll give you the facts when we get to Grid Surf. I'm gonna fill up to 100% at Grid Surf, so I've got enough to get back, and also a little bit for, you know, all journeys I'm going to do. Normally I wouldn't charge to 100% at places like that, but I need to in this particular case. The Grid Surf charge 24p per kilowatt hour, and you're probably going to chastise me if I get that wrong as well, but never mind. And that is across the board, so it doesn't matter if you're using 50 kilowatt or 100, 150 or the 350, which is brilliant. Just one flat charge, contactless payment, and away we go. So we're going to get there, grab a coffee, have a chat, have a catch up, and yeah, you know, hopefully. I want to do more of these. I miss doing these type of road trips and just like impromptu. Do you want to go on a road trip? Yeah, right, let's go. And you know, there's going to be more EV stuff coming. I do a lot of other stuff, as you know. So if you don't, I do one-wheel stuff and electric skateboard stuff and things like that. It's my passion, as well as like electric cars. If you want to watch those, there's playlists for that. There's playlists for i3s and reviews. So pick the playlist you want, and then, you know, watch away. There will always be videos of all electric stuff, not just cars. I'll try and bring them out weekly. Obviously weather and time dependent and things like that. This isn't my full-time job. So yeah, hope you enjoy it. So looking at where I it's actually the temperature's gone down to 5.5 degrees, and we're running about 3.6 miles per kilowatt hour. So yeah, we're it's not great, but it's not really bad either. So we're not doing too badly. So it's worth noting as well that I'm driving on A roads and motorways as well. So we're not just we're not pooting around like little villages and things like that. There is some A roads and some small roads, but predominantly getting to Welling has been motorway driving and motorway speed. So it's a realistic test of range and efficiency during a pretty crap UK weather day. So this is a more realistic range test and sort of efficiency test if you're looking to buy a new EV. If you're new to buying EVs, it's a little bit different. I'll say a little bit, a lot different to buying a petrol or diesel car. You should akin it more to buying a new phone. It's basically a piece of tech. Don't think of it as a car anymore, it's buying a piece of tech. Now, with this, the manufacturers will always give you this wonderful range. So apparently, the BMW i3 has got a WLTP range, which is what the manufacturers tell you, of 183 miles, which is absolutely rubbish and ludicrous. This is a full electric, it's not got a little petrol tank and all the rest of it to top it up. So ignore those miles. In fact, like, take those miles and maybe take off 50 or 60 miles. With me, it's like, if it's 183 for me, like I said, anywhere between 90 to 100 to 120, in really good weather and really good conditions. So you have to be careful with that sort of stuff first and foremost. The other thing that you'll find as well is that unfortunately car dealerships aren't particularly great and versed in selling these, and they're at the moment they're not incentivized to sell electric cars over petrol or diesel, because they've got so many petrol and diesel cars left. They're desperately trying to get these, and they're, in some cases, and not all, but in some cases, they are purposely not telling people, what they should be doing and how they should be using an electric car. They don't tell them how to charge, or the infrastructure that's out there in public. They assume that everyone's going to have that knowledge, but they don't. You just want to, Joe Public will just want to go and buy a car. Do they like the look of the car? Is it going to fit my needs? Great. But not everyone's going to know about the charging and the apps and the contactless payment and this, that and the other. So just bear that in mind if you're a new to EVs, and it's nothing wrong with, there's nothing wrong with that. I didn't know about EVs before I got one. So I'm going the right way, probably not, maybe not. So yeah, so you just got to bear that in mind. So that not everyone will know what they're doing with it. So, but if you do your research if you can, and just try and sort of do that. It's better to know stuff before you go to a dealership, because like I said, dealerships on a large part aren't very good, and they won't necessarily try and push the EVs as much as they should, which is the right thing to do. So welcome back to GridServe in Braintree, and I'm here on another really cold day as always, yeah, we've arrived here on, I arrived here on 20 miles left, 3.6 kilowatt hour average consumption, so it's pretty good. We started off at 60 miles and ended up with 20, so even in this cold weather, rainy and everything else, it's still not that bad. And the other point to note is GridServe. What a fantastic location and facility. Even the manager here come over to make sure that we were, you know, charging okay and everything else. As always, contactless payment, nice and easy, really cheap. 24p average price. Swipe your card and go. What's not to love? Other people, please take note. Rob behind me, charging his ID3. I'm over the back here next to the EQC, over the back there. And it's cold again. So like just before Christmas, it's freezing cold and it's freezing cold again. So if the camera shakes or I'm shaking, that's the reason why. But yeah, so we're back at GridServe. I'm charging up to full so I can go home in a little bit more. And we've done all right actually, 3.6 miles per kilowatt, average 32 miles an hour. Such all the road rules. Got here with about 20 miles. So actually started off at 60, got here with 20, 40 miles, even in 5 degrees weather and rain. It's obviously cleared up a little bit now and only a tiny bit warmer. But that was a realistic range test. So it was a realistic range test of the car and during the normal UK crap weather. So that was good. And now we're topping up at GridServe, which is 24p. 24p, doesn't matter what it is. Take note, everyone else, this is how you do charging. I've said it before. Standard rate across the board on charging. Contactless payment, easy. So what this does show though, it does show that if you're looking for a second-hand, cheap or low-range car, it's fine, isn't it? Like, you can do journeys. We've done this without any problems at all. Yes, we stopped at GridServe, but there's plenty of good infrastructure around. But it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be difficult. And it was a realistic range test. None of this like glorious sunshine, really warm weather, so you get the most out of your battery. My battery wasn't even warmed up. I hadn't preheated the car, and I literally just jumped in and drove. Anyway, I really hoped you enjoyed this little episode and little road trip. There'll be more, like I said. I've got a Manchester one coming up, but for work. I'm hoping to get my hands on an ID3 and an ID4 next week. Till next time, I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.